Sean Bro's here.
Hey, Sean Bro.
Fox Morris is here.
Boom, we're live. Fox Morris is a legend. Fox Morris is the greatest thumbnail maker ever.
Oh yeah, yeah. I noticed he never made me a thumbnail. So
no, he only makes me a thumbnail, which is why he's awesome. But Fox Morris is awesome. So, happy Secession Day. And you know, I should actually mention. So, what is it April? Is it July 4 now, or was it yesterday? We passed it now. So technically we're past it, but in America it's July 4th, right?
Ah, it's still July 4th in America. How's the sound? Should I put on my earphones? What do you think?
Oh, I just had to pause the video myself. They're playing. So yeah, I don't know. I personally, as a New Zealander, I have a big beef with July 4th.
You have a big what?
I have a beef with July 4th. I have a problem with it.
How with July 4th?
Yeah, because as a result of July 4th, England had to stop sending its convicts to America, and really? they all got diverted to Australia instead.
Speak, please.
There are many camels eating too much sushi.
Why the hell isn't this working?
Psychological problems.
What's he talking about?
Who? Is there someone else?
The guy who said psychological problems.
I said it as a joke because we don't have technical problems anymore.
Oh. I'm having technical problems. I think my computer's screwed up.
That's not technical problems. That's right. It's just the computer screwed up.
Output, input.
Can't you hear me? But wait, you can hear me.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But I'm trying to get on
You're trying to get on what?
I'm trying to use only. And I can't hear you. Speak.
Can you hear me? There are many owls eating too much spaghetti.
Oh, that's fine. That's strange. Yeah, I got these, headphones. They don't work.
They don't work. They must be defective.
It sounds okay. You're not getting any feedback?
No, none. It sounds good.
Recently, I've noticed I'm getting feedback when I do Skype.
I'm getting lots of feedback in the comments, but no, we are all good.
All right. So it's are you serious about the convicts? They stopped sending convicts because of what? That has nothing to do with July 4th, though.
Yes. Hello. Wait a minute. Of course, it has everything to do with July 4th.
Well, I don't understand why.
So, what is July 4th?
The birth of some country.
Yeah. Well, that's right.
What does it have to do with your?
I think it's like Llama Day in Peru. No, so it's the day that America seceded from the British, from the British Empire, right? And that it became its own country. It's the official day from the revolution that they more or less won. And
more or less.
Well,
is it still being debated?
Well, I hear that a bit like, Russia is opening an inquiry into the liberation of into the independence of the Baltics, and I don't know. I mean, England could probably open an inquiry to revisit the independence of America at some point. But assuming that America is still independent, I don't know.
Well, we're owned by corporations, but
there you go. So if they provided the corporations decide not to sell America back to the Queen, you're in good hands. But no, so what England used to do up until, what was it, 1789? 1789 was. I'm
impressed you know that date.
Yeah, well, it's we America, we get brainwashed into all that stuff. So yeah, up until that time, whenever they had all the undesirables and they had the drunks and the Irish and the lower castes and whatever in Britain that they thought they would fix Britain by shipping off, they shipped them off to America. They paid to send people off to America. A lot of the early people.
Who paid who?
They actually, the upper classes, and particularly from the overpopulated regions, like the regions that my ancestors came from in Yorkshire. North England and so on. Yeah, just wealthy people they'd actually band together and pay tickets to people who would be willing to go off to America. They used to pay for air tickets for, not air tickets. Air tickets.
18, that's impressive.
But they paid a lot of people, and it was also a choice. If people were convicted in the courts, instead of going to jail, the jails were overfull, they would just ship them to America instead. But when America became independent, Britain couldn't send people to America anymore, so they had to start sending them to Australia instead.
Oh, I see. So that was this hat's not good.
And as a result, you know, the real estate prices in my corner of the world just suddenly, you know, nosedived.
Real estate prices.
Well, yeah, because, you know, we had a lot of convicts move into the next door neighbors.
I like that. I didn't know that. That's interesting. So you started only sending convicts to Australia after America?
Australia was only incorporated into Britain, I think, in 1784 or 88. It was just before the American Revolution. And when the American Revolution happened, that was the whole purpose of Australia, was for being the new place to take all the exiles.
So you're saying America was basically formed by criminals then?
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's not even a, you know, I mean,
if I were England, I would play that up. How come no one plays that up?
I'm surprised that you don't know it. I mean, you know, religious nuts.
No, we don't know that. I don't think I've ever heard that before at all. I know a lot of negative things about America.
It's not negative. I mean, honestly, those people are the same. And, you know, I remember I have Australian and New Zealand heritage as well.
Criminals are the same as regular people?
Well, the things that they were sending them away to Australia for, this is a famous thing, you know, it's like there was often petty crime, and it was just a form of social cleansing. It was a way of getting, you know, it's basically, if they were doing it today, they would just be taking a survey of whoever watches like Fox TV, and they would just be giving them free air tickets to go to the moon, and hoping to solve America by doing that. But what we discovered is that they made the moon a pretty nice place. As you know, America and Britain, you know, America and Australia, now most of Britons would love to move to those countries. So I think it disproved
what countries?
America and Australia. You know, the waiting lists of people trying to get into those countries now, but they were formed by people who were actually being exiled.
Australia?
What? No, it's terrible. It's as hard or harder than America, actually.
Really? I didn't know that.
Australia's tough. New Zealand's pretty easygoing.
Huh.
But, you know, that's because everyone wants to go to Australia, and people go to New Zealand like people go to Canada. It's like they really want to go to the country next door, but it's tough. So for now, they go to the country next door. You know, the same with us. We
Canada's pretty easy to get into.
Yeah.
Though I'm not positive about that. So
no, so it's because of this day. Because of this day in 1789, New Zealand was condemned to be beside a country that took all of England's convicts.
What do you know about America's the slave-owning founders?
The slave-owning founders. I know that was it Thomas Jefferson actually had children with his slave, right?
Yeah. With I think Benny. I'm pretty sure he had more than one. Like apparently, there's a lot of Black Jeffersons now who can claim him as his great-great-grandfather or something.
Which I think is interesting, isn't it? I mean, from what I understand,
had slaves. John Hancock had slaves. Thomas Jefferson had slaves. James Madison had slaves. And George Washington had slaves.
It's ironic that these are the people who drafted the Declaration of Independence, which talks so much about the principles of equality of men at the same time as having slaves, isn't it? But the thing with Jefferson is kind of fascinating to me. As I understand, I mean, that wasn't a sex slave that he had, and that wasn't, well, so far as it seems, that wasn't abuse or rape or anything like that. Right. That was actually a romantic relationship that he had with that woman who happened to be
illicitly romantic.
Yeah. So he was married as well. That was adulterous.
Oh, I don't know. I assumed so. You know, I'm sure he wasn't married to a slave.
The fact is, I mean, he treated her, from what I understand, like a wife. Actually, I mean, you know, she was a slave, but you know, there was I don't know. It's kind of, I guess it shows that it's not, you know, you can't look at all of these things necessarily through a pure lens of, you know, pure evil, cruelty, and or you know, yeah, there are shades to that stuff. But
well, I'm reading the Encyclopedia Britannica right now, so
yeah, I'm reading the Encyclopedia Dramatica. It's got a slightly different account.
I've got a really good posting there for me. So according to the Encyclopedia Britannica,
yeah,
in the initial draft, Thomas Jefferson condemned the injustice of the slave trade, but he also blamed blacks in enslaved Africans in North America on avaricious.
What?
He says he blamed the presence of enslaved Africans in North America on avaricious. What does that mean? Avarice, but I'm not sure what avaricious.
It's obvious, whatever it is, it's obviously been stamped out, probably through vaccinations.
Greed.
Greed. Well,
Yeah.
that's weird, isn't it? I mean, those greedy slaves.
Blame the presence of a slave on. I'm sorry. He blamed the presence of slaves on greed, but not on blacks. He doesn't blame blacks. He blames
That was nice of him. But the fact is, I mean, the fact is, he had black children. He had a de facto black wife that wasn't recognized in the circumstances at the time. I mean, who started out as a slave of his, but formed a genuine relationship with. So yeah, he seems like an interesting character. You know, in a very complicated.
They're trying to take those people's faces off money right now. There's I don't know how powerful this drive is, but they're trying to change money and take people's faces off.
Well, this was last week tonight. They made a big deal of the
great show, by the way.
Yeah, they made a big deal of they're putting a woman on the $10 bill, but she has to share it with the man who was on there originally, and it's not the 20, and people are kind of complaining, and that might be multiple women. Wishlist Japan. Which part of New Zealand am I from? I'm from Papakura, although I've lived all over the place. Lived in Wairau, Wellington, Auckland. So someone's asking.
How big is New Zealand compared to Japan? About the same size?
It's about the same size, a bit smaller. So California, New Zealand, and Japan are all about the same size.
Okay.
New Zealand's a little bit smaller, but you know, we've got like, what is it, 4 million people now? So yeah, you know.
All right, let's see what's happening here. Are you looking forward to the game tomorrow?
Yeah, so you know, I assume you have to be supporting Japan by this point. You've lived here 20 years. You have to. Surely you've abandoned all loyalty.
I have no idea who's even on the American team. All I know is that they're apparently big, and some of them are hot. Because if you look them up on Google, that's all you get is the hot pictures.
Well, the thing is, I was watching with my wife tonight the news, the build up to it. Hot isn't well. There are some hot. I mean, there always are. But the thing about the Japanese women's team and the American women's team, and I say this as a dude, is that they are good looking. As a dude, I am saying they are good looking, but they're good looking like a guy sees a good looking guy and goes, "Whoa, that's a good looking dude." Like, you know, I mean, you know, some of this. I think the captain, what's her name, something back or something. You know, like she's married to a woman, right? I mean, you know, there's a lot of lesbians, and I'd assume in both teams and so on. And, you know, they're athletic and they're cool as guys. They're just like, whoa, that's a good looking guy. Oh, soccer player type, you know, it's kind of cool. And the thing is as well, like, you know,
Abby Wambach, is that her?
Yeah. And you watch like the men's soccer, you know, and they fall over.
No, I didn't know that.
You know, what the men's soccer, you know, they dive and they cry and they fall over and they pat each other's bums. And
what is that called? What is that called when you do that?
I don't know, politically correct.
No, I think it's called diving.
Oh yeah, dive. Well, they like I say, they dive. They do all sorts of stuff. They act, you know. They do. But you watch the women's soccer, and particularly you watch the, you know, and you watch the Japanese women. Like they're like rugby players. They're kind of stoic, you know. They're cool. To me, they don't overact. They don't cry. They kind of act like cool guys. So for me, I actually find that a part of the women's soccer actually more appealing than watching the men's soccer.
Oh yeah. The diving that's pretty pathetic, I think. Yeah.
And indeed, as Phoenix 787 says, Wambach is a beautiful woman. She's androgynous, I think is the term they use. She's good looking as a man or a woman. She is obviously a woman, but she's just got this, you know, she's just, you know, what do you call it? Perfectly symmetrical face. Just a very good looking person. 3 old dudes behave. That is not, well.
Did you see on Facebook that one of our YouTube friends recently was asked if she was a man or a woman after she got a haircut?
Who was that?
I don't remember because it came up on Facebook.
But it defeats the whole conversation. I missed that.
No, it came up on my iPhone and I thought, oh, I know this person. And that was, you know, I was driving and, you know.
You're driving and browsing Facebook?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
It was a red light. I was stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wasn't paying too much attention. But yeah, she's in Japan and they asked her, are you a man or a woman?
Well, that would like ruin your whole day, wouldn't it?
Signing up for a marriage license or something. But I don't know who it was now. And I'm not trying to be insulting. I just think it's pretty amazing.
She went up for a marriage license and they asked her, are you the husband or the wife?
Well, he's obviously a man, but they were asking her if maybe they were trying to see if they were trying to have a gay marriage or something. And it's surprising.
I'm sorry, you have to tell me who this is for this to have any meaning or context. You don't know who it is.
Well, I could look it up, but I thought you might know because
No, I missed it. I missed it. I wish I hadn't now, but no, I didn't
we'll
see
figure
that
it
one.
out later. If anyone in the comments knows, let us know.
Yeah.
Here's something interesting that I again, something I can't tell you exactly why, because it's kind of
Okay,
secret.
we'll have a vague conversation about something.
There's a very famous black basketball player.
Okay. Who
Many
is she? She's very famous. Who
I
is
don't
she?
remember her name, but in the
You
black
were racist.
basketball
I
girl.
bet you if she was white, you would remember her name. That's
Yeah, I'm
why.
racist. But she played in Japan about 20 years ago. She
Okay.
went back to America. She got married. She had kids. She got divorced, and she called her old friend from Japan, and this Japanese woman came to see her, and they got married in, I don't remember where, Northeast, I think it's Massachusetts or something. But she married her Japanese girlfriend. But the whole thing about this is, I know people who are in the basketball, professional basketball. I have a lot of connections with professional basketball in Japan.
Okay.
And the big scandal was, obviously they had been dating all that time years ago.
Hmm.
You know, and they just rekindled their old love.
Yeah.
And got married. So she's now living in the States. But I thought that was kind of romantic, kind of cool. You know.
Yeah.
But again, not a real story, since I don't remember any of the people's names.
Some famous person who everyone's heard of, who I don't remember.
Anyone who's in basketball knows, you know. I mean, I don't. Do you know all the basketball people? I don't know any. I know like.
I know all the basketball people. Was that your question?
Yeah, I know LeBron James. Do you know athletes? You know people's. Do you follow basketball? I don't follow.
I'm a bit out of date. You know, the 1989 Chicago Bulls. I can name all of them.
Really, that's impressive.
Well, at that time, you know, that was like the greatest basketball team like ever, right?
What was the worm? Dennis Rodman. I always thought he was fun.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen. Of course, Michael Jordan. At center was Luke Longley, the Australian guy.
Don't remember him.
But anyway, yeah. I mean, you know, at certain time periods, I'm not up to date on all this stuff. Do you know how the question from Phoenix? Do you know how the Shibuya wedding certificate thing for? It's not exactly a wedding certificate. It's just a certificate that says they have the relationship that's equivalent to a marriage or something like that. Do you know how that works? You're getting a question about that.
Do I? I have no idea.
No, okay. Just
we have to find out though. Do we know anyone who's married, gay and married in Japan?
Yeah, I know a couple of people, but not who are. Well, the thing is, you can't register a marriage even in Shibuya as a marriage. You know, you can get a certificate after you get married somewhere else. So I know people who have been married in the British Embassy, which does civil services for gay people. So I know married gay people in Japan, but not who were married. I mean, I think there was that thing where they went to Disneyland and they performed like ceremonies, but they weren't recognized as civil legal ceremonies yet.
Right.
So the only people I know who are married either outside of Japan or were married in embassies within Japan from countries that recognize it.
So now that it's legal everywhere in America, a recent couple, again, I don't even remember the state, but they're really old. And all this time they've been living together as father and son.
I'm sorry.
But apparently it's quite common in the gay world. If you can't get married, you would adopt one another, and that would give you legal rights to each other's stuff.
I get it. Well, which actually also happens in Japan a lot, although for different under a different thing. You know, when people adopt the sons-in-law so that they can inherit businesses. Oh, it's not even sons-in-law. It's the people that it's the manager of their company they adopt. Yes.
Actually, Japan, I looked this up the other day. Japan has one of the highest rates of adoption.
Yeah.
But 98% of those adoptions are that kind of adoption, not children adoptions.
I got one for you. I actually read a story yesterday, which was kind of shocking. So the foreign ministry has a thing where when it comes to foreign gay spouses of diplomats, rather than recognizing them as spouses, it registers them as family members. So apparently there was a reception by the Japanese emperor for ambassadors in Tokyo, and the ambassador for Denmark happens to be married to a dude, and happens to be a dude himself. And apparently the instructions from the Imperial Household Agency said that the dinner was an invitation for ambassadors and their spouses. So the Danish ambassador applied to have his husband come along with him. The foreign ministry explained that, no, I'm sorry, he's registered as a family member, but not as a spouse, so he can't come to the palace.
Wow.
Apparently, the Imperial Household Agency itself, according to the story, actually complained about that and said, he's married as a spouse in his home country. This is an international event. You can have him come along. But the foreign ministry said, no, rules are rules. Gays stay at home. More or less. Also, the event happened without the husband being allowed to come along. He was shut out.
That's a shame.
It is a shame. And it was actually, the Imperial Household Agency was in favor of allowing the husband of the Danish ambassador to attend, but the Foreign Ministry of Japan opposed recognizing the Danish ambassador's husband as a husband.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy if you think about it, right?
When was this?
This is apparently recently. It was something I read a story about it like 2 days ago. But you think about it. I mean, which means that the government actually had a hand in that decision, right? That's a ministerial decision.
Yeah.
So Phoenix says that he heard the emperor is quite liberal. The emperor is very good for making. Sometimes when the government's being very right-wingish about some stuff, the emperor will often stand up and remind everybody to be a bit liberal and fair-handed. This is a case like that. He didn't intervene personally here.
Is the word liberal? What is the word for liberal? Hoshiteki is conservative. What's liberal?
Well, the problem is that Americans misuse the term. So in America, if you say liberal, that means that you're a socialist or a leftist or something like that. Liberal doesn't mean that in most of the rest of the English-speaking world, although America's changing the meaning of the word.
Well, Jiminto is Liberal Democratic Party, right?
Right. So
Jiminto is just what? Just Citizens Party, right?
No. It's a Liberal Democratic Party.
No, what does actually Jimin actually mean? Free and citizen.
It means liberal and democratic. But so the whole point is that in the political sense, the traditional meaning of liberal
means free, right? Of course, yeah. Liberation. Okay.
Their freedom. So their freedom. So basically, you have a politically liberal person believes that in small government and believes that that people should be free from regulation and free to do what they like. And conservative people are people who think that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't change for the sake of change is unacceptable. So if you have liberal people who are like liberal in terms of economics, they're people who don't believe in a lot of government regulation of the economy. So typically, liberal people in like Britain, in Canada or Australia, the Liberal Party is a right-wing party. It's a pro-business party that all the big business and big corporations support.
Yeah, Americans backwards. Yeah.
In America, it means socialist or communist or something. Somehow it got messed up over there.
Liberals want to have more rules and regulations for corporations.
No. We'll see again. So they're explaining here.
In America.
Well, that's right. Liberal means literally. It means like libertarian. It's closer to libertarian in kind of nuance than. But yeah, in America, because of this, and there was actually a thing I remember 2 years ago where someone said, "Hey, Shermill, thanks for. Glad you like the new room." So yeah, I remember there was like a Republican LDP exchange, and the Republicans were suggesting to the LDP, "Hey, you might want to change your party name because everyone will get the wrong idea that you guys are liberal," But it's actually the Americans who corrupted the term. Although the problem is that when America corrupts a term, like you change the spelling of a lot of words because of that damn Independence Day that you have.
Right.
Unfortunately, because America's got all the nukes, it means that you guys ultimately get to decide, even if it's wrong.
No, we've got Hollywood.
Well, Hollywood and nukes, it's a good combination.
Amazing marketing machine,
Yeah.
We export our culture to everybody. So
if America had good beer, I mean, the whole world would probably be under its domination.
Hey, so we want to keep today's show a little bit short. But I found this. I looked up. I had this idea. I'm going to just type in "fucked up things about America" and see what I get.
Yes, let's do that. I'm up for that.
So
I can verify as a non-American.
Here's a wild one that I think you'll be surprised at, and I don't think it's true, but I can't prove it. If this is number 7 off the list, if you want to look it up, it's called 10 fucked up things the American government does not want you to know. Number 7, if 19 hijackers flew 4 planes into their demise on September 11th, 2001, how are 50% of them still alive to this day?
Well, I think you're looking at a tinfoil hat type list in that case.
Yes. So as soon as I read that, I thought, okay, this is probably a bad list. But what fucked up things have you read about America?
Well, I still like the there was something a Reddit thread talking about how Europeans see Americans, and I think the graphic which everyone agreed was the best representation was an extremely obese person on one of those scooters at a Walmart carrying like shotguns.
But I'm starting to see those people in Japan too, people on scooters.
Obese people on scooters.
Yeah, well, not just obese people, but old people.
Well, old people on scooters are okay. I think people, yeah, if you're so obese that you need a scooter to move around, have you seen the movie Wall-E?
No. Oh, yeah, the little robot.
Yeah, so it's in a future where everyone's so fat that they're on these kind of, hovering scooters everywhere.
Right.
That world becomes very, very real. It's kind of scary. When I see fat people on scooters, I think, oh shit, Wall-E.
Your son made you watch Wall-E like 100 times, didn't he?
Actually, no, not I probably liked it more than him, actually. It's a nice movie.
Now, my niece would walk up to us and bring the DVD and say, do you want to watch Wall-E? So many times that
he's saying, get off that scooter, Victor.
So, well, what fucked up things do you know that strike you about America? For me, I'll start off. One of the things that I read a long time ago was that we conducted syphilis experiments on Guatemalans.
Yeah, that was a nasty one, wasn't it?
You know about that? Okay.
Yeah, I read about that.
For some reason that stuck in my head is like just being a horrible thing to do to another country. And why would we do that?
Well, okay, if that's the kind of thing that the fucked up things Americans have done to other countries, though, I mean, you can take the entire South America and what Kissinger, it still isn't totally clear, but you take Chile, like the
the CIA and
CIA involvement of the
Pinochet?
Well, bringing Pinochet. What was the name of the guy that they brought down? But I mean,
the guy that blew up in DC in a car bomb.
Probably not that. Pinochet killed the former the president of Chile and stuff like that. I mean, America does lots of. I mean, sorry, if you get into that, I mean, in the scheme of things that America has done, while that sounds kind of nasty and insidious, I think it pales in comparison to all the wars and all the other stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, fucked up things in America. For me, here's one. And being a Puerto Rican yourself, you will understand this.
Mexican, I thought. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
what am I today?
Same thing.
It's all the same.
Same thing. So Puerto Rico has I think Puerto Rico has more people than New Zealand.
Really? Oh yeah, of course. They're Hispanic. They breed like rabbits.
So it's about 5 million. It's about 5 million people or something. Anyway, it's a lot of people.
Okay.
But they represent. If they were part of America, they would be like 1 or 2% of the entire population. They are Americans. They're part of America. They serve in the military and all that sort of stuff. But they don't have any right to vote in national elections.
Right.
And now
they have a fake vote that doesn't count.
Yeah, they get to send Mickey Mouse to Congress to watch.
Right.
But they've just gone bankrupt.
3.5 million Puerto Rico, by the way.
3.5. Okay, so it's not as much as New Zealand.
What's famous in New Zealand?
But there are states that probably have.
That's amazing because it's a tiny island.
But probably, there's probably more people than Rhode Island. How many people does Rhode Island have?
Who are you asking? It's like you got a sidekick on the side.
Sorry, I heard a noise.
It's like, hey.
Wait a minute. Rhode Island can't have 3.5 million.
I think it's 2 million off the top of my head, but
yeah. But anyway, they've got a lot of people.
I don't know why I would know that. I think it's 2 million. 1.05 million.
So yeah, 3.5 times the population of Rhode Island, which is a fully fledged state that has full voting rights. And if Rhode Island were to go insolvent, which Puerto Rico is going, they'd have the ability to declare bankruptcy and get bailed out by the federal government, which Puerto Rico doesn't have. So, Detroit, how Detroit...
Puerto Rico has been offered statehood numerous times and has turned it down because then they would have to pay taxes. They don't have to pay taxes.
They don't pay taxes?
Nope. That's why they don't want statehood. Nobody wants to pay taxes.
Have they really turned down statehood? I thought they just weren't offered it.
It was offered, but I remember the last time it was offered, they said this is the third time or something. It was some outgoing president. I think it was Jimmy Carter. But I remember someone outgoing was saying, hey, by the way, before I go, you guys want to become a state? And they're like, no, thanks.
Okay, I never realized that. So they actually did a referendum or something and they turned it down?
I don't think they even bothered doing that. I think they just, I think just that whoever was.
Everyone raised their hands.
No, I don't think they put it to a vote. They just said, "Do you guys want to be a state?" And the Puerto Rican government said, "I don't think they put it to the people." Puerto Rico turns down.
Wow, but here it is, 2012. In 2012, so
The last MC was much before that too. I remember
under Obama, they did it, and voters rejected it, 54% to 46. Okay,
those voters. Okay, I was wrong about that.
I thought that was kind of messed up that they're not a state, but if they don't want it, then screw them. I guess.
Who wants to pay taxes? I think a lot of states would be like, we don't want to be states either. We just take away the taxes. A lot of people.
I think Texas doesn't want to be a state.
They want to be their own country.
Yeah.
Hey, so Americans have to pay double taxes. We patriots living in expats, Americans living here in Japan have to pay taxes in Japan and in the USA. You don't. But there's another like Tobago or some other weird, tiny, like screwed up third world country has to.
Hey, they've got a good cricket team. Don't mess with Tobago.
Oh, really?
And a good netball team as well. We play a lot of the same sports as them.
They're tiny too, right?
Yeah, they're beside Trinidad and Tobago often have joint sports teams.
Tobago population 62,000. That's tiny.
Yeah, but
that's like a small city in Japan.
It wouldn't even qualify as a city. I think it wouldn't actually meet the criteria for definition of a city in Japan. I think it's got to be over 100,000 people.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, it's small.
Well, Tajimi's a city and they got 90,000.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So it must be. Well, maybe they call it Tajimi City, but maybe it's technically not. Maybe it's village. Cho is I guess Tajimi Cho Tajimi Shi. No, it's a city. It's a city.
So here it is. Oh, 50,000 or greater is a city. So they do qualify to be a city. It's 50,000.
Seto City is 60,000, so it's the same as Seto down the street. So there you go. Huh.
So anyway, so what about? So you talk about tax and Tobago and what?
So yeah, America is one of the few countries that makes you pay taxes.
Well, extraterritorial taxes, right? Yeah. So
for expats. So yeah.
Most countries do make people pay taxes, but there's if you're away for more than a year, you don't have to pay anymore.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
And you have a lot of rich, people who live in Cayman Islands and tax havens to avoid American tax. So they tried to close that loophole by just taxing people even if they left, which means America does have a tax treaty with Japan, though, which I think means that you don't have to pay double tax for Japan. You just pay U.S. taxes, not Japanese taxes. It gets equalized or something. They take into account the Japanese taxes that you paid, I think. The countries that America has a tax treaty with, there's something that resolves that. But for countries without...
I think I'm paying double taxes then. Really? Okay, well...
You should check it because, there is a tax treaty between America and Japan to resolve that stuff. But it still is, they're pretty harsh.
All right. Well, what are we going to... Oh, screwed up things about America, yes.
So, the first one's a bit weird. What else is screwed up about America?
The worst things are really the wars. The wars are really bad. But, let me... Oh, okay. What's it called?
So fifth gear is a correction here. You said that Tobago has a population of 60,000, but fifth gear corrects that Trinidad and Tobago has a population of 1.2 million.
Wow. Okay. So, what says right here? Tobago population 62,000. I'm looking at right here.
Is it Trinidad that has the rest? I don't know. Anyway, but
Scarborough has 25,000. That's the capital. Wow. What do you know? Although they got a cool flag though. That's like the diving flag. Isn't their diving flag? Isn't the diving flag and the Tobago flag the same?
Maybe. So population of Trinidad and Tobago is 1,200,000 according to Wikipedia. So what about the population of Tobago? Is Tobago Tobago? Are we talking about the same Tobago?
Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, I'm looking up your population 1.3 million on Wikipedia. But so Tobago's tiny. I guess Trinidad is really the place to be. Huh?
Yeah.
Well, no. If you I can't remember. What do you call when you cut someone's tubes? Pipe cut. Japanese. What's it called? Vasectomy. They
cut them. You tie the tubes, don't you?
Tied your tubes? Is it
yeah.
Yeah. So they no, that's for women. They tied. Well, maybe it's both. Anyway, they conducted unasked for operations on a bunch of people who have Down syndrome.
A lot of countries did that. Sweden did that as well.
Really, Sweden?
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Huh. Huh.
Okay. What else?
Not the only screwed up country. What about Japan? Does Japan do anything like that? I've never heard of Japan do anything like that.
They might have done it in the past. They might have done it with disabled people. A lot of countries did that. But yeah, I'm sure they don't do it now.
Well, every country has its own skeletons. Some worse than others. We have slavery. Slavery is pretty bad. Has New Zealand ever had slaves?
Yes, but yes and no. New Zealand represents the colonial government, right? The British. So when New Zealand was colonized, slavery was already illegal, right?
Okay.
But Maori culture had slavery. So Maori, and New Zealand was a dual sovereignty system. So the indigenous people.
You want to think that Native people are a little more evolved than whites, but I guess not.
Well, yes and no. But they had slavery and cannibalism. So yeah, and there was an overlap. There was a time. The first Maori tribes that got guns, were in the north of the country, and they all took the guns from the British, and they went down to the south of the country, and they enslaved and ate everybody.
Jesus.
Yeah, and actually, the English whalers gave them rights down to go and do it.
Wow.
So it's kind of messed up if you think about it. New Zealand's got plenty of skeletons. But
that's pretty bad. I've never heard of active cannibalism in the States. Of course, Washington, George Washington.
The Donner Party.
Yes, yeah, well, but that's isolated cases.
Well,
New Zealand is pretty common, right?
It's not common, no.
In those days.
Even in those days, it was a pretty extreme thing to do, but it wasn't not done. In Papua New Guinea, that's where it's still kind of big.
This is going to sound like a stupid question, but why exactly that become like a taboo? Is that due to Christianity or what?
It was taboo even for Maori, but they do it anyway. It was just a way of really rubbing in that you won, which it was. The worst insult, the worst swear word in Maori, it means go boil your own head.
Go boil your own head?
Go prepare your own head for me to eat it, is the worst insult in Maori language.
That's funny.
Because it used to happen. Well, people wouldn't actually boil their own heads. Someone else would boil their heads for them, but yeah.
Of course, yes. Well, that's where head shrinker come from, right? In Africa. They would actually boil their own head. They would actually boil their enemies' heads, right? And then wear them around their necks as trophies.
Okay, I didn't know that, yeah. Well,
that's where the word, the word head shrinker?
I know the word head shrinker. I don't know a lot about the process.
It comes from that.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we got on this subject at all.
Yeah, let's get through the rest of the list.
Let's forget it. Well, that list is garbage. I know the syphilis isn't even on the list. That's out of my own head. I'm just thinking of things that have always shocked me about America. The other thing that shocks me about America is that we have, I think, 2 million people now in jail.
Okay. Oh, yeah. High incarceration rate. Everyone is asking for, oh, by the way, so have you heard about this? With Greece defaulting and the economy collapsing, that they're going to start charging everybody patent royalties for democracy.
Uh-oh.
So people keep saying in the comments they want us to talk about Greece.
Greece is irrelevant. I don't know.
Thank you for clarifying that. Well, we're talking about an independent state America, but yeah.
What's going to happen? Okay, you're a businessman. What's going to happen now? Nothing.
Well, I want to be clear on this because I'm confused. As a New Zealander, I am confused.
By what?
Who invented democracy?
The Greeks.
Not the Americans?
No.
You get the impression that Americans invented it.
No, of course not.
Okay. I think a lot of Americans think that.
Know that the Greeks invented it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the Romans, or they think the Romans. They probably group them together because we're not very bright when it comes to history or world history or geography. But no, I'm pretty sure most Americans do recognize that. And we are taught that in college and high school.
Yeah.
So we know all about et tu, Brute.
Have you, as an American, by the way, you became an American citizen. How do you do that? How do you become an American?
Well, my parents became American citizens when I was 14, so I automatically became an American citizen.
Oh, so you didn't have to do the pledge and the exam and all that sort of stuff.
But it's child's play. If you're a high school student in America, you can pass the test.
Okay.
They ask you things like, how many stars are on the flag and how many stripes are there and what do they represent and how many states are there. They ask you easy questions.
How many championships the Bigfoot monster truck won? Who was the reigning WWF champion?
What are the top? You'll be able to answer this. What is the top sport in America?
I believe it's American football.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Number 2.
Number 2, baseball.
Basketball.
Oh.
Number 3 is baseball, and number 4.
Number 4 couldn't be ice hockey.
It's ice hockey. It's ice hockey.
It is ice hockey. Okay.
Yeah. I was surprised by that too.
Oh. That seems kind of geographically exclusive to the northern states, but okay.
Yeah, but ice hockey is number 4, which I'm surprised at. Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
That is, I don't know how you measure that.
Not even top 10.
But that's kind of strange. Well, money-wise.
Cricket, not cricket. What's the thing with the little? This is stupid, but what's that? It looks like tennis, but there's a little thing that flies. Badminton is number 10. Can you believe that?
So
it's higher than soccer.
But I just think that soccer probably, in terms of players, number of players, would be quite high. It's just there's no money in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
As a New Zealander, here's something about America you probably didn't know. So, rugby is coming back to the Olympics in the next Olympics. First time since 1936 or something, or 1932.
That's good.
You know who the reigning Olympic champions for rugby are?
America.
So yeah, it kills us. The one time, and for that, all that they did was they just got some American football players. They taught them how to play rugby in France during the things, and they're all just so physical and so big that they just killed everybody in one, and they beat New Zealand and they beat England and all the rugby countries, and they're the reigning champion. And so it's coming back, and New Zealand's like, yes, we can get a medal. But this is why we're so glad that our sports are not popular in America, because America would just destroy everybody and everything.
Well, here's something that's also screwed up. America, the Super Bowl has 100 million people watching at one time.
Yeah.
Right? That's the biggest sport of the year. That's the game of the whole year, right? But apparently, and I saw this thanks to the South African comedian named Trevor. What's his name? The guy who's going to take over the Daily Show. You know about him, right?
Oh, I think
the new Daily Show host is a guy named Trevor something or other.
Okay.
And he's a South African comedian, and he pointed out that any game, any soccer game between Madrid and what's another big soccer team?
Well, the problem is that Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, or Madrid,
Real Madrid and
Barcelona,
a British team,
or Barcelona or Manchester United, or
Manchester United. Any game between those two, any time of the year, even if it's not a special game, has 400 million people watching it. Like, that's just normal stuff. So. Yeah, American football is nothing compared to in the world compared to soccer.
Yeah, but there's more money in American football than soccer.
Is there?
Well, at least the players get paid more. The teams are richer. I mean, the top soccer teams are incredibly rich, but the whole American economy is just focused on one sport. So, yeah, there is more money still.
Well, who's the top? This might surprise you. Who? Yeah, Trevor Noah. Thanks. Who is this top athlete of last year? Who made the most money?
That is a golf player? Don't know.
No, golf player was number 5. I think. I think it was Tom. I think it was what's his name? No. It was maybe the second guy. Some guy I never heard of actually. And Tiger Woods was like number 7, but it was a Mayweather.
Boxer.
Yeah.
Wow.
$105 million. Damn. And he's got no sponsorships. That's amazing because I think 80% of Tiger Woods' money is all sponsorships.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So that was thinking that's where we got to get. Yeah, that's what we have to get into.
I'm ready. So we just have to start fighting on the shows.
Sponsorships. We need people to sponsor because I was thinking about all movie stars. How about movie stars? Not that we're movie stars, but how do they make the money? Is it from sponsorships? Is it from commercials? Do they do commercials as well?
No, they get big payouts for their movies, though, right? I mean,
but a lot of them they go overseas to do commercials, right? They must get paid out for that. Like DiCaprio coming over to Japan and do all those credit card commercials.
I'm sure that all helps, and I'm sure that's all probably big.
Rocky, Sylvester Stallone did the meat commercials.
So by the way,
did the drink commercials.
Phoenix 787 just mentioning Floyd Mayweather from the Pacquiao. Sorry, I don't know his name, how to pronounce his name, but Pacquiao.
Pacquiao. Mm-hmm.
You know how much he's just saying in the comments? He made 228 million from that one fight. Well, that was the richest fight ever, right?
Yeah.
228 million, and it was a crappy fight.
He brought home 105 million. I think he had to pay the rest in taxes or something. According to Forbes, he made 105 million, or maybe 115, but it wasn't 228.
No, maybe in the pocket or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
take home. So that's amazing, though. And he can't read.
Yeah, he can't read.
Now, apparently, did you hear about 50 Cent, the rapper?
No, what about him?
He offered him, I think, $1 million. He said, "I will donate $1 million to the charity of your choice if you read a book."
It's a bit mean.
But that is pretty funny. That is pretty funny. Yeah. Tommy Lee Jones does all those Boss commercials. He doesn't need the money. I mean, it must be a lot of money for him.
It is obviously good money, but I don't think they rely on that to make a living. I don't think they make movies in the hope of one day getting a coffee commercial sponsorship.
But it must be pretty sweet.
Yeah. So we've got to wrap up. But one thing I'll say about America. Let me express an opinion on America. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, New Zealand and
Pacquiao, by the way, Manny Pacquiao. We should know that because Philippines are nearby. So
I love a double.
They're tough.
So when I was a kid, New Zealand and America got into a huge fight. When New Zealand, this was during the Cold War, New Zealand got treated for a time like Soviet Russia because we got into this big fight with America over letting ships with nuclear weapons into New Zealand. We passed a law that said no nuclear weapons in New Zealand. And America had a policy, well, we don't say if there are nukes or not. And New Zealand said, well, if you don't say, we're not going to let any American ships in. Which meant that New Zealand got sanctioned by America.
Wow.
And we got shut out. And a lot of young people, a lot of people supported the government on that thing. And me, myself as well. I didn't like America was like penalizing New Zealand over this.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I mean, that's stupid, yeah.
But my father is the most pro-American, redneck American, non-American, you're ever going to meet.
He would love this background today, right?
He would love that background. I mean, my dad is a country music listening, shit-kicking, redneck.
Country music's great.
Yeah, I grew up listening to nothing but country music.
Johnny Cash.
Yeah. So he always would tell me whenever I'd start bad-mouthing America, oh, bloody Americans, bloody making all miserable, having all the wars and nuclear bombs. And my dad would always say, son, you check your mouth because, look, no matter what America does, don't forget that if America hadn't existed, if America wasn't there, the world wouldn't have been saved from World War II. And this was during the Cold War. The Soviets would be running everything. In the end of the day, there's a lot of bad countries out there, and we're lucky that we're on the side with America, and we shouldn't take that for granted. And it's easy to bash on the big guy, but we're better off for them being there. And don't forget that was the lecture I'd always get back. And you know what? I still hear my dad's voice in my head whenever I start thinking like anti-American stuff, whenever I start thinking, it's a reflex. Most New Zealanders and Australians reflexively just want to bash on America.
Right, really.
But, you think.
We love New Zealanders.
I know. And I hate to tell you this, but, most New Zealanders and Australians just intuitively just rip on America. Mm-hmm. Because we just don't like countries that look like, they're full of themselves. Right. But in the end of the day, I mean, they stopped, the Holocaust. They liberated China. America's done a lot of good things, and in spite of all the incredibly fucked up things that America has done and is still doing,
we employ half your actors.
That's right. Our entire movie industry is is subsidized by America. So I don't know. I've come around to agree with my dad that in the end of the day, the world is better off for having America in it. And although it's kind of a shame that you guys had to go and get out of the Commonwealth and not get to have cricket teams with us and all that sort of stuff, at the same time, no, I'm very appreciative of America. So happy Independence Day.
Thank you. Well, I don't really celebrate it anymore. But before we go, I want to remind people that 2 months from today, July 5th, will be our party.
Yes, yes. September 5th, not July 5th. That's tomorrow.
2 months from today. Well, today
Right.
it is now technically July 5th. So, right.
Yeah, so that's right. 2 months from today.
And we're gonna have a party. It's gonna be 3,000 yen. Is it?
3,000 yen. That's right. 3,000 yen, which is for, well, there'll be nomi hodai of alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks, but it's for the booking of the bar as well. And the bar is in the heart of Roppongi. It's a great venue. And it's worth it. You know, we'll make it worthwhile. So 3,000 yen, and I think it's going to be same as last time. So I put the same info, 7 to 9, and then we can just do what we want afterwards. Most people will stay there.
7 to 9. Do you think you can squeeze another hour out of that guy?
I might see if we can do it on the early side. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go back and talk with them.
It'd be nice if we had more time to spend with people, because the 2
Well,
hours is enough.
But what I will say is that, the thing with the Hanami is a great event, but this year there were no flowers and the weather was crap. But the thing about the summer party is that it is as big as the Hanami. It is absolutely weatherproof.
Really big, yeah.
It is in the middle of the biggest nightclub going out drinking area in Japan. And, it never misses. You come from all over the world. We have people from all over the world who come. It's a hugely attended event. It is the best YouTube party of the year, certainly in Japan. And probably, hell, I would challenge anywhere else in APAC, anywhere else in this part of the world.
In the free world.
In the free world, the free democratic part of Asia, thanks to American democracy. So yeah. It's an awesome party. So be there or be square. You've got 2 months notice. So try to plan to be there, and we will both be there, and you should be there.
A lot of people are going to be there. So
yeah,
if you're free, if you're in Tokyo on September 5th, in 2 months, come meet us. Come have a drink with us.
Phoenix, I don't think people are pissed off at the Hanami, but
why were people so pissed off at the Hanami? What's he talking about?
I don't think people were, but the point
was anybody pissed off? I don't think anybody was pissed off.
I was a little bit. You got that video, but yeah.
Oh no, nobody was. Well, no, before the no, there was just two people who it was silly. Two people complaining, but the thing is, if one person complains, it's possible to other people complaining. And the reason I brought it up, by the way, TKO-Sam didn't appreciate me bringing that up at all. But the reason I brought it up was because I think there's a lesson to be learned there. When people complain behind other people's backs and for no reason, when there's nothing to be gained by it, but it's a common human nature kind of thing to do, right?
Yeah.
People like to complain, and people want to call up and bitch about stuff because they feel better. But basically, you're spreading your negativity around for no reason at all. Unless you can accomplish something, keep your mouth shut. That's all I wanted to say about that.
So anyway, we're gonna have awesome party, and it's gonna be. Well, the Hanami, it's the two parties, right? So the Hanami and the summer party, but the summer party is awesome. So make sure you come.
Right. Oh, there was something. Speaking of TKO-Sam, he's having a beach party.
Yes, actually in July as well. I've got a.
I think August 1st. It says he's hosting something August 1st. Someone said Phoenix. Phoenix, is that your real name? Or is that your, what's his YouTube name? I guess it is. It must be.
Of course, it's his YouTube name.
Yeah, of course. But I don't know Phoenix.
You should check out his channel. He makes he's making a lot of videos. He's really pumping up the channel.
Oh, yeah, I know Phoenix. I've met this guy. I think I met him at the Hanami.
There you go.
Jesus, I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I know you. Oh, cool. Or somehow I know his face. I don't know why. All right. Anyway, we better wrap up. But one last thing, I'd just like to apologize for being incredibly intoxicated last Saturday, and just telling people to fuck off randomly. I don't know. You guys were pissing me off.
Especially Phoenix.
Was he? Really?
Yeah, you were hitting him.
Maybe that's why he looks familiar.
Yeah, you were bashing on him hard. He actually messaged me on Facebook. Is Victor going to be drunk again? And I said, yeah, probably. And he's like, oh no.
Hey, this is what I don't like though. Toot on Hill, you guys talk out of your asses. Just saying random shit like that, that's silly. Why don't you back it up or fuck off? There, I told someone to fuck off. There you go. Well, I hate when people write messages, you're wrong, and then just walk away. It's like, you're wrong, walking away. Like, well, that's not a conversation. If someone did that in real life, though, I would laugh. I wouldn't walk after him. That would be funny if someone did it in real life. I would be okay with that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Everyone seems to be very happy with it, with the trolling.
Hey, the one last thing I think it is important. I'm really curious. There's apparently a new troll law in New Zealand.
A what?
A new anti-troll law in New Zealand.
Wow, that's going to shut down about half the country.
You haven't heard? Someone wrote about it in the comments, but it sounds really interesting. No?
Okay, I didn't know about that. I'll have to look it up.
All right. Well, but maybe next week. Hey, and are we going to be doing this at midnight every week now?
Don't know. Are we?
I mean, that sounds good. I mean,
I think we have to keep it to half an hour just for peace at home. But on Saturdays it works for me. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're already at 1 hour, but
yeah, I know. So we have to try for 30 minutes.
Okay, we'll try for next 30 minutes. Let's come up with. So Hiko, why don't we come up with something to talk about for next week, like on your channel, a little more organized. So if you guys have ideas, please send them to Hiko Simon.
Yeah.
Right, or leave them in the comments in this video, and we'll check it out.
Okay.
Alrighty. Hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks, Hiko.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.
And I'll see you guys next week, Saturday night, midnight on Hiko Simon's channel. Good night.
Peace. Happy Independence.